Welcome back to LinguaNest Podcast. I am Jimmy.
And I am Maya.
Today, I want to share something very real. Something I never told anyone before.
Now I'm curious. What is it, Jimmy?
I wanted to speak English, but I was too shy. Not because I didn't know words, but because I was afraid to use them.
That feeling is very common. What were you afraid of?
I was afraid of making mistakes, afraid of people judging me, and honestly, afraid of hearing my own voice in English.
Wow, that's deep. So what happened when you finally tried?
That's the thing. I didn't try. I stayed silent, and that silence changed everything.
So today, we are talking about fear, confidence, and how to finally start speaking English.
Yes, and maybe this story will feel a little like your own. It started on a normal day, nothing special, just another afternoon. I walked into a small coffee shop near my home. The place was warm, quiet, comfortable. But something felt different that day.
Different how?
I started hearing people around me speaking English. Not slowly, not carefully, but naturally. Like it was easy for them. They were laughing, telling stories, asking questions, and everything sounded so smooth.
And you were just listening?
Yes, just listening. Standing there, holding my phone, pretending I was busy. But inside, I wasn't busy. I was thinking too much.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking. I understand them. I know these words. So why can't I speak like that? It felt strange, because in my mind, I knew English. But in real life, I felt completely silent.
That gap between knowing and speaking is where most people struggle.
Exactly. And at that moment, I became very aware of myself. My hands felt stiff, my voice felt locked, even my breathing changed.
That sounds like anxiety.
Yes, but it wasn't just fear of English. It was fear of people. I kept thinking, what if I say something wrong? What if they don't understand me? What if they look at me differently?
That's the voice of self-doubt.
And that voice was loud. So loud that it stopped me from doing the one thing I wanted to do, speak. I moved slowly toward the counter, rehearsing sentences in my mind. Hello? I would like a coffee. I want a coffee. Can I have a coffee? I repeated these sentences again and again in my head, like practice.
So you were ready.
That's what I thought. In my mind, I was ready. But then, I reached the counter. And suddenly, everything disappeared.
What do you mean?
My mind went blank. Completely blank. All the sentences I practiced, gone. All the confidence I built, gone. It was just me, standing there, silent.
That moment feels very real.
It was too real. I could hear my heartbeat, louder than the voices around me. **A, and in that moment, I realized something painful. Not that I don't know English, but that I am afraid to use it.
That realization is powerful. Because now you know the real problem.
Yes, but at that time, it didn't feel powerful. It felt like failure. Because I didn't even try. I just stood there, quiet, invisible. Watching others speak, while I stayed silent.
And that silence was louder than any mistake you could have made.
So I was standing there, in front of the counter, completely silent. And then, the barista looked at me and smiled.
That was your moment again.
Yes, and this time, it felt even more intense. Because now, I knew I had to speak. There was no escape. He said, very calmly, "What would you like to order?"
Simple question, but not easy in that moment.
Exactly. It was such a simple question. I understood every word. But my mind started racing again. I thought, say it properly, don't make a mistake, speak clearly. And the more I thought, the harder it became.
That's the trap. Thinking too much blocks speaking.
Yes, and suddenly, my confidence dropped again. I could feel people behind me waiting. I could feel pressure building. My hands felt cold, my throat felt tight, and my voice just didn't come out.
So what did you do?
I rushed it. I didn't speak. I reacted. I looked at him quickly and said, "Coffee."
Just one word, again.
Yes, just one word. No sentence. No confidence. Just a quick escape.
And how did you feel after saying that?
Honestly, worse than before. Because I knew I could say more. I knew I could speak a full sentence. But I didn't. It wasn't lack of knowledge, it was lack of courage.
That's a very important difference.
Yes, and that moment stayed in my mind. I took my coffee, walked to a corner, and sat down quietly. But I wasn't enjoying the coffee. I was replaying the moment again and again in my head.
Like thinking, I should have said this.
Exactly. I kept thinking. I should have said, "I would like a coffee, please." I should have smiled, I should have spoken slowly. But now, it was too late.
That's the pain of missed chances.
Yes, and it hit me harder than I expected. Because this wasn't just about coffee. It was about something bigger.
What do you mean?
It was about confidence, about expression, about who I am. I realized, if I can't speak in a simple situation like this, how will I speak in a real conversation? In a job interview? In front of new people?
That's when small moments feel very big.
Yes, and for the first time, I felt frustrated. Not at English, but at myself. Because I was holding myself back.
That's powerful awareness. Many people don't realize this.
And then, I started observing others again. I looked at people ordering, speaking freely, making small mistakes, but still speaking.
And no one was judging them.
Exactly. That's what shocked me. No one was laughing. No one was stopping them. No one cared about their small mistakes. They were just communicating, and that was enough.
That's the lesson hidden in that moment.
Yes, but at that time, I wasn't ready to accept it fully. I was still stuck in my own fear. Still thinking, still hesitating, still doubting. And then I told myself something very honest, something I never said before.
What did you say?
I said, "I know English, but I don't trust myself."
That is the real problem. Not language, but self-trust.
Yes, and that sentence stayed with me. Asterisk asterisk 8 because in that moment, I didn't lose a conversation. I lost an opportunity to grow.
But sometimes, losing one chance prepares you for the next one.
I didn't know it then, but that moment was going to change everything. After that moment, I didn't leave immediately. I just sat there, holding my coffee, but not really drinking it.
You were thinking again.
Not just thinking. I was analyzing everything. Every second, every word, every mistake I didn't make, because I didn't even try.
That kind of thinking can feel heavy.
It was very heavy. I kept asking myself one question, again and again. If I understand English, then why can't I speak it?
That question is very important. What answer did you find?
At first, I blamed my vocabulary. I thought, maybe I don't know enough words. Then I blamed my grammar. Maybe my sentences are not correct. But deep inside, I knew that wasn't true.
Because you already had simple sentences ready.
Yes, I had them. I practiced them. I repeated them. But when the moment came, I didn't use them.
So the problem was not knowledge.
Exactly. And that realization hit me slowly, but strongly. I wasn't struggling with English. I was struggling with fear.
Fear of what exactly?
Fear of being seen. Fear of making mistakes in front of others. Fear of sounding not perfect.
That's something many learners don't talk about.
Yes, because it feels uncomfortable to admit it. **A, but the truth is, I wasn't afraid of English. I was afraid of people's reactions.
And what did you think people would do?
I imagined the worst, always. I thought, they will laugh, they will judge me, they will think I'm not good enough. But then something interesting happened.
What happened?
I started observing more carefully. Not just listening, but really watching people. I noticed something very simple, but very powerful.
Tell me.
People were making mistakes. Small mistakes, big mistakes, wrong grammar, wrong words, but they were still speaking.
And no one stopped them.
Exactly. No one stopped them. No one laughed. Conversations continued normally. And that's when I felt something shift inside me, just a little.
A small realization.
Yes, a very small but important one. **A greater than I realized. Maybe the problem is not making mistakes. Maybe the problem is being silent.
That's a powerful shift in thinking.
But it didn't change everything instantly. I was still scared, still hesitant, still unsure. Because knowing something and believing something are not the same.
That's very true. So what happened next?
I asked myself a very honest question. What is worse? Making a mistake, or saying nothing?
And what was your answer?
At that moment, saying nothing felt worse. Because silence gave me nothing. No experience, no improvement, no confidence. Just regret.
And regret is heavier than mistakes.
Yes, much heavier. A mistake lasts a few seconds, but regret stays in your mind for hours, sometimes days. And I was feeling that regret deeply.
So that moment became important for you.
Very important. Because something changed inside me, slowly. Not my English, but my perspective.
What kind of change?
I stopped asking, how can I speak perfectly? And I started asking, how can I just start speaking?
That's the right question.
Yes, because perfection was stopping me, but action could move me forward. And then I noticed one more thing, something very simple.
What did you notice?
Every confident speaker was once a beginner. No one starts perfect. No one starts confident. Everyone starts small.
That realization removes a lot of pressure.
Yes, but it also brings responsibility. **A, because then I realized, if I stay silent, it's not because I can't speak. It's because I'm choosing not to try.
That's a strong truth.
And it was uncomfortable to accept, but it was also freeing. Because if I am the reason, then I can also be the solution.
That's the turning point.
Yes, that moment, sitting alone in a coffee shop, became more than just a small experience. It became a mirror, showing me my real problem.
And what was the real problem? **A, not English.
But fear, overthinking, and lack of self-trust.
And once you see the real problem, you can start fixing it.
Yes, and I didn't know it yet, but that realization was going to push me toward my next step. A step I was afraid to take, but needed to take. After sitting there for a long time, something inside me didn't feel the same anymore. I wasn't confident yet. I wasn't suddenly brave, but I was tired of feeling the same way.
Tired of being silent.
Yes, tired of holding myself back. Tired of knowing English, but not using it. And for the first time, I didn't ask, what if I fail? I asked, what if I try?
That's a powerful shift. Even a small change in thinking can change everything.
It didn't feel powerful at that moment, it felt uncomfortable. Because trying means risk.
Risk of mistakes.
Yes, but also a chance to grow. So I made a small decision, not a big one, just a small one.
What was it?
I told myself. Next time, I will speak one full sentence.
Just one sentence.
Yes, not a perfect sentence, not a long sentence, just one complete sentence.
That's a smart approach. Small steps build real confidence.
Exactly. Because before, I was trying to be perfect. Now, I just wanted to be real. And then I did something different, something I never did before.
What did you do?
I started practicing, but not in a complicated way. I didn't open a grammar book. I didn't search difficult words. I didn't try to memorize long sentences. I just practiced simple, real-life sentences.
Can you give an example?
Yes. I started saying things like, I want water. I am going outside. I like this place. I need help.
Very simple, but very useful.
Yes, and I said them out loud, not just in my mind. Because I realized something very important. Thinking is not speaking.
That's a key lesson. Many people only practice in their head.
Yes, and that's why they freeze in real situations. So I changed my habit. I started speaking to myself, in my room, quietly, slowly.
That's a great way to build comfort.
At first, it felt strange. Talking to myself in English felt unnatural.
But did it help?
Yes, more than I expected. Because slowly, my voice became familiar to me. English didn't feel like something outside, it started to feel like something I could use.
That's when language becomes real.
Exactly. And then I added one more small habit.
What was that?
I stopped correcting myself too much.
That sounds interesting. Explain that.
Before, every time I spoke, I would stop and think, is this correct? Is my grammar right? And that stopped my flow.
So what did you change?
I told myself, don't stop. Just continue. Even if it's not perfect, just continue speaking.
That builds fluency.
Yes, because fluency is not about being perfect, it's about continuing without fear. And slowly, something started changing inside me.
What changed?
My fear didn't disappear, but it became smaller. And my confidence didn't become big, but it started growing.
That's real progress. Small, but real.
Yes, and then I asked myself one more question. Where can I try again?
You were ready for another real situation.
Not fully ready, but more ready than before. And I knew I had to go back to the same place, the same coffee shop.
The place where you stayed silent.
Yes, because that place was not just a coffee shop anymore. It was my test.
That takes courage.
It didn't feel like courage, it felt like a challenge. I was nervous again. I won't lie. My heart was still beating fast, my thoughts were still loud. But this time, I had something new.
What was it?
A decision. Not to be perfect, but to speak.
That's the difference between fear and action.
Yes, and as I walked toward that coffee shop again, I could feel both fear and determination together. Fear was still there, but it was no longer stopping me.
And that means something big was about to happen.
Yes, because this time, I was not going there to stay silent. I was going there to try. The next day, I stood outside the same coffee shop again. The same door, the same place, but not the same feeling.
You were nervous again, right?
Very nervous. Maybe even more than before. Because this time, I knew what I had to do. There was no hiding. My mind started talking again. What if you fail again? What if you freeze again?
That voice doesn't disappear easily.
No, but this time, I answered that voice. I told myself. It's okay to fail, but it's not okay to stay silent again.
That's a strong decision.
It didn't remove the fear, but it gave me direction. So I took a deep breath, and I walked inside. The sound of the door opening felt louder than before, every step felt heavier, every second felt slower.
You were fully aware of the moment.
Yes, completely aware. I could see the same counter, the same barista, the same place where I failed yesterday. But this time, I didn't look away. I walked straight toward it.
That already shows confidence.
It didn't feel like confidence, it felt like determination. My heart was beating fast, my hands felt cold again, but I didn't stop walking. And then, I reached the counter.
This is the moment.
Yes, this was the moment I was preparing for. The barista looked at me again and said, "What would you like?" Same question, same place, but a different version of me.
What did you feel at that exact second?
Fear, but also something new. A small voice inside me saying, "Just do it." And for the first time, I listened to that voice. I didn't think too much. I didn't try to be perfect. I didn't wait for confidence. I just spoke.
What did you say?
I said, slowly, clearly, "I would like a coffee, please."
That's it, but that's everything.
Yes, it was just one sentence, but it felt like a huge step. Because for the first time, I didn't stay silent.
And what happened next?
Something very simple, but very important. The barista smiled and said, "Sure."
That's it.
That's it. Nothing dramatic. Nothing negative. No one laughed. No one judged. No one even noticed anything special. It was just a normal conversation.
And that's the biggest lesson.
Yes, because in my mind, I created a big fear. But in real life, nothing bad happened. And in that moment, I felt something change inside me.
What did you feel?
Relief. Not because I was perfect, but because I finally tried. I stepped aside, waited for my coffee, and this time, I was not overthinking. I was smiling.
That's a beautiful moment.
Yes, and I realized something very important. Confidence doesn't come before action, it comes after action.
That's a key lesson for every learner.
Yes, because I was waiting to feel confident first, but that never happened. Confidence came only after I spoke.
So action creates confidence.
Exactly. And then something unexpected happened.
What happened?
The barista called my order and said, "Here you go." And for a second, I had another chance.
Another chance.
Yes, a chance to say something more. I could just take the coffee and leave, like before, or I could try again.
What did you choose?
I paused for a moment, and then I said, "Thank you."
Simple, but powerful.
Yes, and he replied, "You're welcome." And that small exchange felt bigger than anything. Because now, it was not just one sentence, it was a small conversation.
That's real progress. **A, yes. And I walked out of the shop, not as a perfect English speaker.
But as someone who finally started.
That's more important than perfection.
Yes, because I realized something very clear. The problem was never English. The problem was fear. And the solution was simple. Speak, even if it's small, even if it's not perfect.
That's the lesson everyone needs to hear.
And that day, I didn't just buy coffee. I bought my first real confidence in English. After that day, something didn't feel the same anymore. I walked home slowly, holding my coffee, but thinking differently.
Differently how?
Before, I used to think English was something difficult, something far away from me. But now, it felt closer. More real. More possible.
Because you finally used it in real life.
Yes, and that small experience stayed in my mind the whole day. I kept repeating that moment. I would like a coffee, please, thank you. And every time I remembered it, I felt a little more confident.
That's how confidence grows, from real action, not theory.
Exactly. And something interesting started happening after that.
What changed?
I stopped being afraid of small conversations. Not big conversations, not long talks, just small, simple interactions.
Like daily English.
Yes, everyday English. I started using English in very small ways, and those small ways started changing everything.
Give some examples.
For example, at home, I started saying things like, I am eating now. I am going outside. I need water. This is good.
Very simple sentences, but very important.
Yes, because I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I was just trying to build comfort. And slowly, English stopped feeling like a subject, it started feeling like a tool.
That's a big shift.
Yes, because when language becomes a tool, you stop fearing it and start using it. And then, something even bigger happened.
Bigger than the coffee shop moment.
Yes, because this time, it involved people again.
Oh, so another real-life test.
Exactly. A few days later, I met a stranger. He asked me something in English, a simple question. Where is the nearest store?
That's a common situation.
Yes, but for me, it was a big moment. Because now, I had a choice again. Stay silent, or try.
And this time, you already had experience.
Yes, but still, my heart started beating fast again. Fear didn't disappear completely, it was still there, but weaker.
So what did you do?
I paused for a second, took a small breath, and said, It is over there, go straight.
That's great.
It wasn't perfect, but it worked. He understood me, he smiled, and said, Thank you. And I replied, You're welcome.
That's a full conversation.
Yes, a small conversation, but a real one. And in that moment, I felt something stronger than before.
What did you feel?
I felt capable. Not perfect, but capable. Not fluent, but able to communicate.
That's the goal of language, communication.
Yes, and that's when I understood something very important. You don't need perfect English to speak, you just need enough English to express.
That's a powerful mindset.
And this mindset started changing my daily life. I began noticing opportunities everywhere.
Opportunities to speak.
Yes, small moments, small chances. Ordering food, asking for directions, greeting someone, even talking to myself became easier. And I created a small habit for myself.
What kind of habit?
Every day, I would speak at least 5 sentences in English.
Only 5.
Yes, only 5, but every day. Because consistency is more powerful than intensity.
That's true. Doing a little every day is better than doing a lot once.
Exactly. And slowly, those 5 sentences became 10, then 15, then even more. And without realizing it, I was speaking more than before.
So what happened to your fear?
It didn't disappear completely, but it lost its control. Before, fear was stopping me. Now, it was just a small feeling in the background.
That's real growth.
Yes, because courage is not about removing fear, it's about acting even when fear is there. And then, I noticed one more important thing.
What did you notice?
I started enjoying English. Before, it felt stressful, like pressure, but now, it felt natural, even fun.
That's when learning becomes easy.
Yes, because when you enjoy something, you do it more, without force. And one day, I looked back and realized I was no longer the same person who stood silently in that coffee shop.
You changed.
Yes, not completely, but clearly. I was still learning, still making mistakes, but I was speaking.
And that's the biggest difference.
Yes, because now I understood something deeply. **A, you don't become confident first, and then speak. You speak first, and then become confident.
That's the lesson everyone needs to hear.
Yes, because many people are waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel perfect. But that moment never comes. The real moment comes when you decide, I will speak, even if it's not perfect.
And that decision changes everything.
Yes, and now I was ready for something bigger, **A, not just small sentences, not just short conversations, but a real, longer conversation.
That sounds like your next challenge. **A, yes, and this time. I wasn't just hoping.
I was ready to try. A few days later, something happened that I never expected. It was not planned, not prepared, but it became the biggest test of everything I learned.
Bigger than all the moments before.
Yes, because this time, it was not just one sentence, not just a small interaction. It was a real conversation. I was sitting in that same coffee shop again, the same place where everything started. But this time, I wasn't hiding. I wasn't pretending to be busy. I was just sitting there, relaxed, observing, but not afraid.
That already shows how much you changed.
Yes, and then someone sat near me. He looked at me and said, "Hey, is this seat free?"
And this time, you didn't stay silent.
No, this time I answered immediately. I said, "Yes, it is free."
Simple, but natural.
Yes, and then, something unexpected happened. He didn't stop there, he continued the conversation.
Oh, now it's getting serious.
Yes, he asked. "Do you come here often?" And for a second, I felt that old fear again.
That fear still comes back sometimes.
Yes, it never disappears completely. But this time, something was different.
What was different?
I didn't run from it. I didn't go silent. I didn't overthink too much. I just accepted the moment. I said, slowly, but clearly, "Yes, I come here sometimes."
That's a full response.
Yes, not perfect, but real. And then the conversation continued, one question, one answer, step by step. He asked me where I was from, what I do, why I am learning English.
And you answered everything.
Not everything perfectly, but I answered. Sometimes I paused, sometimes I searched for words, sometimes I made mistakes. But I didn't stop.
That's the biggest difference.
Yes, because before, one mistake would stop me completely. But now, a mistake was just a small part of the conversation. And something beautiful happened during that talk. I stopped thinking about my English and started focusing on the conversation.
That means you were present.
Yes, fully present. I was listening, responding, understanding, not judging myself anymore.
That's when language becomes natural.
Exactly. And in that moment, I realized something powerful, **A greater than I was not learning English anymore. I was using English. The conversation went on for a few minutes, not very long, but long enough to change something inside me forever.
What changed?
My identity. Before, I saw myself as someone who is learning English. Now, I saw myself as someone who can speak English.
That's a huge transformation.
Yes, and it didn't happen because I became perfect. It happened because I stopped being afraid to try. When the conversation ended, he smiled and said, "It was nice talking to you."
And what did you say?
I smiled back and said, "Nice talking to you too." And when he left, I just sat there quietly, but this time, it was a different kind of silence.
Not fear, but peace.
Yes, peace. Because for the first time, I felt proud of myself. Not because I spoke perfect English, but because I didn't stay silent.
That's the real success.
Yes, and in that moment, I understood everything clearly. All those fears, all those doubts, all those overthinking moments, they were never real barriers. The only real barrier was my decision not to speak.
And once you changed that decision, everything changed.
Exactly. And now, if I feel nervous, I don't stop myself anymore. I just remember one simple thing. Speak, even if it's not perfect.
That's the message for everyone listening right now.
Yes, if you are listening to us, and you feel shy, just like I did, ***8, remember this. You don't need perfect English. You need courage to start.
And once you start, confidence will follow.
Yes, step by step, word by word, conversation by conversation. You will grow. Because one day, you will realize, ***8, you are no longer the person who stayed silent. You are the person who speaks.
And that day changes everything.
So if you are listening to this right now, and you feel shy, if you understand English, but you are afraid to speak, I want you to remember something very simple. I was exactly like you.
Afraid, overthinking, waiting for the perfect moment.
Yes, waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel confident. But the truth is, that moment never comes. Confidence doesn't come first. Confidence comes after you speak.
So don't wait to be perfect.
Just start, even if your voice shakes. Even if your sentence is not perfect. Even if you feel nervous. Because every small sentence you speak is a step away from fear, and a step toward confidence.
And one day, you will look back.
And you will realize, you are no longer silent. You are speaking.
And that moment will change everything.
Keep practicing with us, here on LinguaNest Podcast.
Keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep speaking.
And before you go, tell us something. Where are you listening from, and what time is it in your city right now? We'll see you in the next episode.
Take care, and keep speaking English every day.